Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the King of Armor Destruction, Armor Wizard, Zap. We have a body armor demo today. This is from Turtle Armoring Solutions. They're over in Europe. They asked that we provide them some cold hard data on the performance of their particular plates. Let's take a closer look at what we have to offer today. For this demo today, we will be looking at Turtle Armoring Solutions heavy composites, or probably NIJ level 4+ or RF3. We have plate mark 6 and 7. Plate number 7 is a little chonkier at 27.95 millimeters or 1.10 inches thick, 7.38 pounds or 3.348 kilograms. This one measured a little bit bigger at 10.25 by 12. They are multi-curve. You can see that we have got a curve right there and a curve right there as well. Now, if this is the first time you're viewing my YouTube channel, we do all of our body armor demos completely different than everyone else on YouTube or after worst case scenario. These demos today will be a little on the different side because we have a workflow that he would like us to complete to see how well these will perform against certain threats. So we're going to have a little bit of variability there, but we have a shot list that we're going to maintain, but we're after worst case scenario. Since this is rifle armor, we shoot at 45 feet. We also shoot at 0 degrees, again, because that is worst case scenario. We use a giant clay briefcase filled with Roma plastiline, a #1 clay from Chavant. That's the same clay that the NIJ uses, but they have it in an oven all day long, and they're only allowed to keep it out for an hour, and they have to return it for 3. They drop a giant, like, 2.5-inch stainless steel ball on it, and if the dimple is like 19 millimeters, that is certified for backface. It's around 50 to 55 degrees outside today, so I can't keep that clay at temperature. I have been heating it up, so we're looking at a representation of what backface could be. If you see something like 60 to 70 millimeters in my clay and the NIJ's eyes, that would be failing. Since this plate employs a ceramic strike face, normally per the NIJ, we would drop each plate on its face 2 times as a preconditioning test, but Turtle Armoring Solutions has asked that we not do that, again, to remove some of that variability from this test. Afterwards, we would mark a DT and a TQ on the plate to indicate that we've done the drop test and that if we hear any cracking from doing a torque test, but since we didn't do that, we don't have to mark that. From what I can tell, this plate employs a full edge-to-edge ceramic strike face, meaning for this 10.25 by 12-inch outward size that our ceramic or strike face extends almost all the way out to the edge. I do detect a little bit of maybe foam on the edge, but it's very, very minimal. Some companies will sell you a lighter plate because they have a foam edge of upwards of 1 inch or more on the perimeter, and because the NIJ and most labs won't shoot any closer than 2 to 3 inches, they can get away with that. It's a little bit of a gray area, so it's good to see that this is a full edge-to-edge strike face. We use a chronograph whenever possible. We have a Proconal PAL Digital DOX as well as a Garmin 0C1 and the new Athlon Optics Doppler radar chronographs. So we actually have 3 data sets, and we're trying to compare the chronographs and see how they do. Typically with our light screen, it's very sensitive to where the sun is in the sky, and it can actually throw the velocity off a little bit. So with those 3 data sets that we can compare and get a average of what our velocity is, because we need to know the velocity of that round. Some of the specifications that Turtle Armoring Solutions would like us to shoot wants us to maintain a specific velocity and or higher, so that way we have that instant feedback to know that we're getting that velocity. And finally, we put a spreadsheet here at the beginning and the end. We kind of foreshadow all the threats that we're going to shoot at it. In the end, we do a teardown so we can kind of look at the different materials that they are using to make up this plate. We can confirm if they are using an edge-to-edge strike face or not, and then we send you on your merry way. I do want to remind everyone that I'm not an NIJ lab, so if you see a threat stopped or penetrated here, you should always defer to the manufacturer to produce accredited, recent, and frequent lab results showing that those threats can be stopped. And on the flip side, if you're the manufacturer and you see me stop some kind of insane threat, such as M993, you should send that off to a lab and have that added as a special rifle threat to your panel. And I also want to remind everyone before we get into testing that because I'm not in a lab, I have a limited amount of plates that I can play with, so sometimes I have to place more shots on a plate than what the lab would do. A lot of the lab testing for NIJ is 3 shots or less, and they get a new plate. We don't have that luxury out here, so sometimes we have to place more shots on a plate, and just because I get a 6th or 7th penetration doesn't necessarily mean that that plate is bad. Plate mark number 7 is ready to go. This one is not marked ICW, and again, we're going to maintain pretty much the same workflow as panel number 1. Right to the M993, and if this stops it, we'll go up to the 24-inch, and if not, we can probably do the same thing like we did on the other panel. 3047 off the Rangecraft, 3044 Garmin, 3206 off the Garmin, 3214 Rangecraft. Well, easy enough, folks. M993 shot number 1, and then number 2. Place those bets in the comments below. No pass-throughs, folks. I think this heavy composite is a winner. I mean, there is a little bit of a dimple there. The clay is a little bit colder than when we started with the first sample, but that back face down there, right around 29 millimeters, and that one up here, 15 millimeters. Very, very impressive. Now this is going to possibly change how we do the rest of this workflow, but let's continue. Now we move on to our 196 grain Swiss PAP. We're going to take a chance here, folks. Last time we used the 308 and we were 150 feet per second shy of where he wanted to be. And if I remember right from testing this in the past, this 300 Win Mag should give us 2,700 feet per second, which I think is a lower end loading. If you're looking at picking any of this up, definitely check out War-Pig Armory. I have a discount code Buffman. I'm not sure if it works on these or not, but if you're looking for a way to say thank you to the channel and you don't want to buy the armor, but you're looking at some of this cool ammunition. 2761 from the Rangecraft, 2743 from the Garmin, and 2735 from the light screen. So we were optimistically 60 feet per second over what he called for spec-wise, or 35. So somewhere in between there. Now on to our two shots of our M193. Brought the 16-inch out. 32, 33, 32, 39. 32, 18, 32, 30. Easy enough on these low shot plates to call these hits out very well. Here was the M193 stack shot. Those look like they're directly on top of each other. And this was the Swiss PAP. I think we'll have to just load those in 300 Win Mag if we want that velocity. Place those butts in the comments below. No pass-throughs, folks. Now we do have a bit more dimple on that Swiss PAP. And that'd be more of a fair assessment than the first one, which was under spec. And that's looking to be right around 43 millimeters. So right about the limit. Again, the NIJ's clay is going to do a lot better job because they prep a lot better. And again, we're looking at just representation. That one's 14 millimeter. Definitely survivable. I'm very impressed. I think from the testing, depending on what you see and don't see, some of these designs are significantly superior to the same one in the test. I would say without a doubt, number 7 is superior to number 6. Based on how well this has handled other threats, this should not be a concern for it. But here is our M855A1, 4 shots from a 22-inch. Based on the temperature today, we are seeing some pretty good velocities from this stuff. It is from 2017. Again, if you're looking for stuff like this, War-Pig Armory and the Dozer Ammunition. .3184, 3172. This is not on the workflow either, but this is our 152 grain API M14A1. This has quite a bit of incendiary compound in it. We call him Mr. Flashy Flash. I do want to remind everyone that we're probably beyond the point of what this plate was designed for, but we've got it. It's doing pretty well, and this will be the final hit. 3390, 3383, 3393 off the light screen. Fast as boy.
So much fire, so satisfying.
Easy enough. Our A1 shots. Number 1, that was way too close. Number 2, 3, and then 4. That was again close to that shot, and that's a pretty advanced shot. Then our M14A1 API was right on his butt. Nice shooting. Not sure if we got any flash off that. We'll have to check that in post. Place those butts in the comments below. Oh, Raggy. We only have one pass through, and that's from that close proximity shot of the M855A1. But all the other shots were stopped, and our API shot was stopped as well. Back face is, again, one of those giant craters, but it's more spread out. Right around 42 millimeters, so approaching the limit. I would say not too shabby on a plate that's already been shot half a dozen times. Very, very impressive. Whatever these materials are using are top notch for sure. Hopefully they're pressing, autoclaving, using good adhesives. We'll get these torn down. I don't have any pricing on any of this stuff yet, and I'm not sure if any of this will make it on his website, but if anything, very good job, Turtle Arming Solutions.
Paging Dr. Matt to surgery. Paging Dr. Matt to surgery.
Now, for a fan favorite, the teardown. That's where we get to look at the guts of our plates. Turtle Arming Solutions has asked us not to include any measurements of their inner workings, and since they're the ones that coined this test, I will oblige by those. You can make some guesstimations based on visuals. Here is plate number 7, the second plate that we shot with the very stellar performance. We've got that plastic on the back. We've seen that with some of our other import plates. It is used as a means of controlling back face deformation because it is a semi-rigid material, and because this is a rigid panel, it seems to work pretty well. It is pressed, from what we can tell. It maintained its entire shape through all those shots. That's impressive in of itself. It looks like we have a bunch of glue up front, which is a good thing. We're using the hexagon tiles again. Here is one of them. I do believe, just from eyeballing it, these are a little thinner than plate number 6. We have almost edge-to-edge protection. We got a little bit of foam in a couple areas, again, likely because it's hard to put those tiles there. Now, like the other tests, this has a Kevlar or aramid backing material for the strike face laminating layer on it, and I think that does very well. What I'd like to see is make like a pocket or an envelope with a lot more adhesive, of course, and again, that's going to add cost, but to put that over the back side of it and then bond that to our backer for superior multi-hit capability. Although this plate seemed to do very well, you can see with these hexagon tiles that we still have quite a few of them in the places that we didn't shoot, but if they get loose from that energy dispersion in that area, and without good adhesives, we could push some of these around and cause quite a bit of gaps between these tiles and then get penetrations. But overall, a very good job, Turtle Arming Solutions, on these plates. I would say number 7 is the clear winner. It also is the heaviest. Plate number 7, King, able to stop our M993 not only from the 22-inch, but the 24-inch as well as our Swiss PAP at a higher velocity than what panel number 6 did. I think I probably should have asked you on the workflow with number 6 if I should have included a 3A backer, but that was some good data to see that it needed that 3A backer to stop our M993. Otherwise, this tile array plate did very well at containing threats and controlling back face deformation. You know, as I mentioned during the teardown, if we can laminate or put the strike face in some kind of envelope with a lot of adhesive and we bond that to that backer, the more shots that it potentially could take in other areas that were concentrating all that damage in one spot and that's not carrying through to a spot in another area because the adhesion is not there. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here because the mosquitoes are biting the crap out of me. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who helped make these possible because there's a lot that goes into them. Number 1 is my family. Amy came out here and built a fire pit for us today with some bricks so that we could burn up some wood that nobody seemed to want. Deacon would like to remind you all to like, subscribe, and share these videos so we can get that algorithm working for us and not against us. Number 2 are my Patreon and YouTube channel members. I have a campsite in the description below. It's a landing page with different types of affiliate links that earn me a sales commission. They cost you nothing, and what I do with that is I put it right back in the channel. That M993 sells for over $100 around. I think it might be 70 to 100 right now. The Swiss PAP is like 30. So what I do with all those commissions, I'm not trying to push sales to you guys there. I'm just offering it as a thank you so that I can continue doing this testing. Number 3 is Turtle Armoring Solutions, who sent me these plates with no strings attached. And of course, number 4 is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.